Well, good evening once again. Day 27 of the Biden administration. And with the impeachment drama now over, the president has truly entered the post-Trump era. The White House and Democrats in Congress beginning a full court press now to make Biden's agenda a reality. First order of business being his almost $2 trillion COVID relief plan, which he'll be pitching in earnest and in person to the American public this week. Biden hits the road tomorrow, heads to Wisconsin, a state he flipped by about 20,000 heavily litigated votes. He'll be in Michigan on Thursday. Today, he released his message on social media.
Today, we're living through another long, dark winter in our nation's history, combating a deadly virus, joblessness, hunger, racial injustice, violent extremism, hopelessness, and despair. But I know we'll get through this. I know better days are ahead. I know it because I know the story of the history of the journey of this nation.
Biden's relief plan may end up being a Democrats-only bill. Of course, they control both chambers. They could pass it with a simple majority if necessary. NBC News reports Biden's also getting an immigration reform bill ready, looking for congressional Democrats to help push that through as well. Key elements will include a pathway to citizenship for those undocumented, expanding refugee resettlement, more technology to patrol the southern border in lieu of a wall. Wall Street Journal reports that even though Biden and the Democrats are in full court press mode, Republicans now have the freedom to ramp up their opposition. Quote, by the Sunday morning after the impeachment trial, it was clear that one cause will be to rally in opposition to Mr. Biden's agenda. While Trump's second impeachment may be history, the fallout, aftershocks from the trial, and the riot that set it in motion all intensifying. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi moving forward now with a plan for a 9/11-style independent commission to investigate, report on the insurrection. She also wants more funding to protect the Capitol and the lawmakers inside it. Meanwhile, one of the 43 Republican senators who acquitted Trump gave this extraordinary interpretation of the events of 1/6 during a radio interview just this morning.
The fact of the matter is, this didn't seem as like an armed insurrection to me. If that was a planned armed insurrection, man, you're really a bunch of idiots. I'm sitting back in my office watching video of the armed insurrectionists staying within the lines inside the Capitol. And I'm seeing a bunch of people milling about. It wasn't until I really saw the video in the trial that you really saw, what was happening and how officers got injured.
Unbelievable explanation from Ron Johnson, which we've had translated from the original Russian, of course. If you were watching on Saturday, you saw Mitch McConnell convict Trump in his speech moments after acquitting him. The guy who held off the trial until Trump left the presidency said they just couldn't convict Trump because he had left the presidency. Tonight, McConnell has a new op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, apparently written by Gaslight, responding to complaints that his scheduling decisions somehow affected the Senate's ability to actually remove Trump from office before he left on January 20th. Quote, consider the claim that I could have steered around the jurisdictional issue by recalling the Senate between January 14 and 20, while Mr. Trump was still in office. The salient date is not the trial start, but the end, when the penalty of removal from office must be possible. No remotely fair or regular Senate process could have started and finished in less than 1 week, said McConnell after the week-long trial. The Senate fell 10 votes short of the 67 needed to convict Trump of inciting insurrection. An ABC News Ipsos poll showing 58% of our fellow voters say Trump should have been convicted. Trump has made no on-camera comments since the acquittal. In his statement he issued Saturday night, he signaled he's not done with politics. He was back on the golf course in West Palm Beach today. Local Trumpers threw him a mini ego boost parade. He was visible waving from inside his armored Chevy Suburban just across the intercoastal waterway from the Mar-a-Lago resort. You could really restart the count we use at the top of the broadcast, as we said, and start his presidency today, not viewed through the Trump prism. Has toxicity increased by dint of the impeachment we just witnessed on the Hill that is going to negatively affect what Biden asks for and wants, he says, to get our country healthy again?
Brian, it very well may, in part because what the Congress went through last week was the most partisan and political of exercises. Even though it was a trial based on the facts of what happened on January 6th, it was seen by both sides through a partisan lens, and that could very well corrupt any hope that Biden may have of some sort of bipartisan unity here at the beginning of his presidency. And let's keep in mind, this is a nation convulsed by crises. You've got the economic crisis, the health crisis, the climate crisis. I could go on. And Biden has a very ambitious agenda for that. He has not been able to get really anything through legislatively in this first month, and they're eager to get going. That's why he's hitting the road Tuesday, again on Thursday. And then he's beginning some foreign policy outreach. He's going to be addressing the Munich Security Conference, a collection of America's Western allies, European allies, who are all too eager to see new leadership here in the United States. And they're going to hear from him for the first time on Friday.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.